This is our Zoom meeting, discussion 2 on November 1st for the Infinity Squadron. The perspective of leadership that made the most sense to me was the relationship approach to leadership. The traits and skills are needed in leaders to build relationships is what I've noticed between leaders and followers highly affects their productivity and attitude. The particular theory that stood out to me was the leader member exchange theory, or LMX. It closely aligned with my current beliefs on leadership. As a leader, you must connect with everybody and build a mutual working relationship, confidence, and understanding with your leaders. Some of the outcomes that were cited in the textbook on chapter 3, page 96 to 97, is that this theory leads to more productive, satisfied, and committed employees. They're less likely to quit. They're clear on the roles, will help out, motivated, honest, and influential.
Thank you. Who's next, Courtney or me? I'll go next.
Sure.
Sorry,
You're good.
Screwed up today. I appreciated hearing about that, and I like to listen to the different, I like to look at the different traits. I think that I came into this with some pretty fixed ideas about what would be best and what wouldn't be best. I know for myself, I thought like having a management or leadership that was real relational and coaching and feel good would be really important. And then when I got really involved in having to direct people, I noticed that I wasn't very good at it, honestly, as a super let's all feel good and do our best manager. And I had to really backtrack and learn almost from like a skill or functional type of manager, where I had to really dig in and be objective and clear. And through that experience, I looked back and said, wow, I appreciate managers that are into me and they know me and understand me. But I also have come to understand that, like, for me, like, I'm kind of accomplishment oriented. And so I need someone that knows how to manage me through that task, like, do this job, or do you need help? So I think evolutionary wise, where I thought being a charismatic or transformational leader was the most important thing in the world and get everybody enthusiastic, I've kind of gone back and said, I think that there's a lot to be said in the different types of management. And so even just from a namesake, I would almost say, like, situationally, I fall into looking at, like, I think a management style changes depending a lot on what has to be accomplished. So all over the place, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm good for now.
Yeah, I mean, I personally kind of relate to a lot of like what you said. Like, I love the idea and the concept of like transformational leadership and to like motivate and get everybody, like, let's get everybody together and happy and on board. But something that I related to, because I was trying like apply everything to like my current work and life situation to see like how does this actually affect me in like the real life. And especially lately, I feel like I really the situational leadership really stood out to me, because I personally, like, when I want to feel like motivated or when I want to like motivate others, it's very about like, okay, what's the end goal? Like, what's the reason why I'm going to do this? Like, everyone kind of has to have a job to like make a living. And so that's a huge, like, why am I doing this job? Either like you want to earn money, you want to feel like that personal like satisfaction, or just like along the way, like the little reasons, like, why am I doing this? And also how like that reason can be very different for like a lot of other people. Like, I have coworkers that they're like, I don't really like this job. Like, I'm strictly just here for the money. That's my biggest motivator. And I have other coworkers that are like super passionate about like coffee and like the customer connection and whatnot. So it's just like, it is getting to know those people and how to best motivate them through what like really drives them and what you're going to see the best, like the best work out of them, instead of just like the blind leadership of like, why are we doing what we're doing? It's like, okay, what's the end goal? What's the motivator? And also a note on like how leaders can best motivate is to just like give that sense of accomplishment and be like proud in what you do, to just like have the importance of believing in what you're doing, whatever that is.
Thank you, Courtney. I 100% agree with you. So with the reading in chapter 3, the situational approach to leadership really stuck to me, because I do feel that motivating based on the situation is important to understand. Specifically, the path goal theory on page 81 really stuck to me, because I really feel like, for instance, I worked in retail, specifically at Nordstrom, for almost 10 years. And there I worked with a diverse group from younger to older. So I had some students who were in school working, and I also had some people who were tired and were just working for earn extra money. They all had different motivational things. One wanted weekends off, others wanted, I don't want to do the go backs, or I want to have morning shifts, or some people wanted the night shift. So finding a key of how I can motivate every single person in one department was challenging, but I had to find a way to what would make sense for everybody, because we all had one goal.
Freeze.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me still? Can you guys hear me? All right, so we had a technical error. We're back on. Going back to what I was saying is that I had to find different motivational items to motivate a team with one goal in mind, as making our goal. So I really feel and strongly believe that having that motivation for your employees definitely helps the end goal. And they just have to see the outcome. Like, if you do this, you're going to get a weekend off, or you're going to make your own schedule. And it really, at the end of the time, like at the end of the month, we always had our increase, whether it be a little increase or huge increase. I felt it did have a huge impact, because they felt, I'm not getting commission, but at least I'll get a weekend off. And so it's kind of motivating to meet those goals. So that's mine.
Great. So yeah, I tend to lean towards the transformational situation, but I do completely agree with what you all have been saying, that like it is based on the situation, or even the job type, the type of job that you have, maybe the type of leader that you are. I work in HR, so transformational leadership just, I feel, kind of works with that. It makes the most sense to me, and the leaders that I have learned from, I feel that they have been transformational leaders that have been the most impactful to me. I feel like I've learned a lot from them and have been able to take away a lot. And the motivation piece is really big for me. I think constantly motivating through different aspects, like through reward, or through meeting goals, or whatever, however you choose to motivate. I think that's just like a big thing. And it also provides positivity as you're doing it, which then encourages the followers to, you know, kind of lead by example. I guess that's a big part of the transformational leadership for me. Else. I just feel like there's a lot of problem solvers that use transformational leadership, because they're forced to think outside the box, be creative, and kind of expand the vision to something bigger, broader, I guess.
Thank you. So we have maybe about 2 more minutes. If anyone else wanted to add anything to our discussion. I mean, I can honestly say I agree with Leslie with HR, you know, with the transformational. But I think in all, I think we could all agree, I think we mostly all said it, situational is definitely, it all depends on where you work and what type of environment you're working in, because if, you know, you're working with sales, you're wanting to, you know, make increases, whereas if you're in HR, you're trying to build relationships. So it all depends. I really strongly believe it all depends on the situation and what type of leader you want to be, based on that situation, based on employees that you support.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't have to be like one size fits all. Like, be transformational, but task oriented, to where, you know, you're focusing that on still meeting your goals and making sure that the job's getting done.
Exactly. Anything else?
Actually, I would just close and say, you know what, I appreciate it. I thought we were sort of on the same wavelength. I studied for art for a while, and it made me think of when we were talking about transformational leadership, it made me think of like an abstract artist. And in the art world, you have to learn like the classics. You have to learn to paint, or generally considered, and then go back to that more expressive, maybe abstract art. I mean, that would be a traditional path. And I was thinking about management in that same term, like learning good leadership and those solid leadership things seems to be like the root, and then move into, you know, situationally what works, or that down the road to that transformational style. But I enjoyed the conversation. It was fun.
Yeah. Thank you all.